My name's Ron Oswald, and I'm the bowl director for the new bowl coming to town, which is the Texas Heritage Bowl benefiting Gridiron Heroes. The game will be held January 6, 2018 at Brownwood Stadium. Our goal of this game is to be able to give back to others, but give athletes the opportunity to get scholarships, play football, extend their careers, but while helping others. I had worked really close with Roland Soto, and the things that we had got accomplished in such a short amount of time are amazing. We have just launched the website last night, and we already have over 10 to 15 corporate sponsors, and now we're launching today. So it's been an amazing outpouring from the community. The game will feature local and statewide players. The roster will also allow for up to 20% from out-of-state players. And it became when I was starting the idea of the bowl website, and I had launched it, and hypothetically I put, what if we did a game in Brownwood? What if we did this? And I had players from all over the state, and also Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, even New York and California. How do I play in this bowl game? So I'm like, I would love for people outside to come in and spend the dollars here. We will be housing roughly 80 to 90 players to 100 staff during the bowl game through our area hotels, eating in our local restaurants. But I want them to have that true experience. Since I've started working in this area, Brown County, Brownwood is an amazing place. There's good people here. And I want the community and people outside to see what all you have to offer. As we spoke earlier, all the funds will benefit Gridiron Heroes. And also, it'll allow Gridiron Heroes to, I'll have Eddie up in a minute to talk about the group, what all we have to offer, and things we're going to do special during bowl week for these athletes. We talked about increasing hotel occupancy and producing restaurant dollars, and even more things will happen within this game. Our plan is by year 2, but I've already been approached this year, so I've not fully ruled it out of making this game a doubleheader. I've had a couple of D2 schools and NAI reach out to me. If that did happen, we know it'll happen next year. We'll have an 11 o'clock kickoff, and then at 6 o'clock at night. That allows the fans from around the nation to be able to come into Brownwood, spend their dollars, and shop here locally, okay? If it does not happen, we will have the high school game, and it will feature Texas All-Stars versus an international squad. I've had coaches from Panama, Germany, Mexico, all reach out wanting to come to Brownwood, Texas and play at Brownwood Stadium. And the thing about international kids, they don't get the access that our kids get. One, of being able to reach for scholarships, do these kind of things, to have these opportunities, but for education on the college level. Local partners, we've had some early adopters already, and I do want to recognize 3 of them that are here today already. If they would just stand briefly. Dottie Lehman with South Park Medical Plaza was one of our largest and early donors to bring it to the community. The City of Brownwood and Roland Soto and the Chamber of Commerce for Summit. Chick-fil-A. You cannot miss the cow makes football, okay? And also the Brownwood Bulletin. And they're here also today. Our coaches, I've got 3 early adopters that are on our bowl committee. There'll be Bruce Lane. Bruce currently is the coach and AD at Tomball Rosehill Christian, a private school outside of Houston. I ran the Sports Marketing Experts Bowl about 6 years ago. Amazing coach, great Christian, great guy for the kids, okay? He's gonna come back and help me. Also, Ed Biles. Ed is the former coach of the Houston Oilers. He worked with the New Orleans Saints, and he also coached under Eric Parsegian at the Notre Dame. So and then now I'm recruiting local coaches. The focus will be these local guys. I want the six-man players to play from May, Zephyr in this game. Even though it's an 11-man game, I want them to get the opportunity to get in front of recruiters. The last bowl game I ran, I had 30 to 36 recruiters come in from NAI, D2, D3, and even one of my kids signed a D1 scholarship with Tulane. So it's really exciting for these kids to get the opportunity they may never have again, but for them, the families get to come here and guess what? They get that one more game. And that's what I'm excited about. We've also, anything along the website, we've also got the support of the NFL Alumni Association. We're having a phone conference again with them today, but they're going to be sending former NFL players to the bowl game. All through the game up under the stands, you'll be able to meet and greet and have photos, free autographs with these players. I want the opportunity where local kids, the kids that's like me that still love sports, can get in front of these NFL players and have that opportunity. We're also adopting a Pledge 9 program. Recently, you might have seen it on pledgeit.com on ESPN Sports Center. They did a Pledge 10 program for Howie Long's son, Chris Long. And they've worked with us on a previous project, but you will be able to go to your phone through Bowl Week and donate $90. The number 9 comes from Chris Canales over here that was paralyzed at San Marcos Academy, and how Gridiron Heroes got started. And it's another way of us generating revenue because the game is going to be on Fox Sports to go out worldwide. So phone, tablet, any device you have, you can watch this game worldwide. And next year, I've already under negotiations with ESPN3. So the thing I'm really getting excited about is, let's put truly how much everybody here loves Texas high school football. Let them experience what Brownwood. I mean, Gordon Wood is a very historical stadium. And I used to be one of the co-owners of TexasHSFootball.com. And it was always, I had to go there once. I had to go to certain stadiums. I love six-man football. I just love football in general. But the amazing part was getting to have it at such a historical stadium for kids outside the state and inside the state to play there. The new Jumbotron offers a lot of opportunities for us, for our advertisers to be on the board, banners throughout the stadium. It is going to be huge for this community. We're going to also offer an art contest for local schools with a $250 scholarship, and they'll be able to draw their favorite player, mascot, something football related, and I'll have a committee and we'll pick a child. They'll get free tickets with their family, free restaurant, free gifts, and also being able to start a little bit of a college fund year one. We're also going to adopt a program called Ticket Buddies. And what Ticket Buddies is, let's say I've got a lady that says, hey, I cannot afford to sponsor. What could I do? Well, for $100, you could donate 10 tickets, and we'll make sure they go to the Boys and Girls Club, disadvantaged youth, people in our community we know that maybe have never been to Gordon Wood Stadium or seen a game here. I want to open up that opportunity for disadvantaged to be able to go to the game, okay? And I'm really excited about the Ticket Buddies program. And we also are looking for local groups to also help us volunteer at the game. Lions Club, Kiwanis, local schools, Boy Scouts. We need those guys to be involved and help us. I apologize. My eyes are getting worse as I get a little older. We also, too, are working with the Lyric to possibly show the Chris Canales movie. There was a movie done on Chris a few years back. It features Brett Favre, Mike Ditka, Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights, Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, and I think this area has a few Cowboy fans. The advantage of this movie is it shows his life story, what happened since the injury. But we're going to bring something really special to this community. We run a helmet-free tackling academy worldwide. 2 nights during bowl week, local youth for $30 can go to the practice fields at HPU. They've been very supportive, by the way. I really need to thank Howard Payne University. their athletic director, Hunter Sims, and their new football coach. But the kids will learn how to proper tackle without using your head and several things. We all love the game of football. We just want to make football better and safer. And most youth groups have volunteer coaches. They do a great job. What if we can teach the kids a better technique, a better way of doing this? And I'll let Eddie Canales in a minute explain that. We're also going to do a banquet the night before the game. We'll have 4 or 5 NFL motivational speakers. That's going to be open to the public. And also the fans of the kids, parents, it'll be available. The film also, one of the things about the film is we want it to where it's accessible. We want to be able to come out, and how often you get to go to a movie and meet the people in the movie, get autographs, and get involved, okay? And we'll be around later for some questions. At this time, I want to bring to up here Roland Soto with the City of Brownwood.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. Just want to take a second to, of course, thank Ron Oswald, your team, your vision and passion for this event has been exciting to be a part of so far. And just like you said, it feels like it's only been a couple of days, and here we are already. Definitely want to thank our sponsors, both current and future, as we move along. Of course, we know that there's going to be a lot of people who want to be a part of this event. So my position started with the City of Brownwood in January of this year, geared by the Brownwood Area Chamber of Commerce, I should say funded by the Brownwood Area Chamber of Commerce, the City of Brownwood, and the Brownwood Municipal Development District, focused on sports tourism. Sports tourism is one of the fastest growing market segments in the tourism industry. And for towns our size with the type of facilities and sporting venues and complexes that we have, it can make a tremendous economic impact. This is the type of event that just seems tailor-made for a community our size. And we're definitely looking forward and seeing how it will positively impact us. Early estimates, just based on some of the number of teams that we may be able to host, we're anywhere from, and Ron, I'm just going to put you on the hook for this one now, right here in front of everybody, but we're on, I was estimating earlier today, in between 400 and 600 total hotel room nights if we do a 3-day type event. That's one of the things I'm definitely excited about, being that's the responsibility of my role. Some other things I'm very excited about as well. The opportunity to work with Gridiron Heroes again. If you don't know a lot about this organization, they're an organization you can count on working at a high level of integrity. I've had the privilege of working with them on the past on some events, on some golf tournaments, and was thrilled to see them again here this morning. Grateful that they made the trip to Brownwood last night for this event. Definitely excited to be working with them again. And then another component, of course, that Ron mentioned earlier, the opportunity for some of our area football players to play in front of some of these D2, D3, and NAIA colleges. And they'll have the opportunity to further their education and to get to continue to play this great game. So an exciting event to be a part of. We're excited to put our branding on it, and excited to welcome the spectators and visitors to our city. That's really all I have to say, but like like Ron said earlier, I will be around for any questions you may have after.
Thank you. I did forget one note before I bring Eddie Canales up. We had Gridiron Heroes come in as a volunteer for our Pioneer Days this year with the City of Early. The idea came about was we were sitting around and Denise Hudson with the CVB of Early said, Ron, I wish we could do more with Gridiron Heroes. Eddie turns around and looks at me and said, Ron, you still run bowl games? And I said, yeah, but not this year. I need a year off. Look what I'm doing now. And so the light bulb put in my head by Denise Hudson, even though the City of Early was not the title sponsor. Her ideas promoted this game. Her thoughts helped us greatly on getting this kicked off. And I look forward to some Longhorns in the All-Star game. I look forward to Zephyr players, Richland Springs. There'll be several schools that will get to play in this game locally that would never have the opportunity to play on this kind of stage. And that's what I'm really excited about. Can you imagine a 6-man player playing in at Brownwood Stadium? They're not used to that kind of field and stadium. It is going to be a great experience for these kids. One of the kids I talked to last night from Mississippi was so excited. He said, Mr. Oswald, if I get to play it like this, is it like Friday Night Lights? I said, yes, it is. And if you do it in Brownwood, Brownwood is the central. The heartland is the central of Texas high school football. You look at the ratings, you look where most of the best athletes have come from is this area. So I'm again very excited and wanting to personally thank Denise Hudson for her help. This time I want to introduce the founder of Gridiron Heroes, Eddie Canales.
Thank you very much. Ron, thank you very much for your effort. And I want to thank all the people that are here right now, our sponsors that have stepped up already to just kick this thing off. We appreciate y'all being here as sponsors. We're excited about this. What a better place to come and kick off a game like this in Brownwood. Brownwood has a great reputation as being a football mecca, basically, the heart of football here in Texas. So a great reputation. Football players coming out of this area. This is a great place to be able to come out and kick off an event like this, but also for a good cause. I want to talk to you a little bit about what Gridiron Heroes is about. For some of you that have not heard our story, we started after my son Chris, and he's our co-founder. He's the actual inspiration behind Gridiron Heroes. And when Chris got hurt, there was no help. Coaches didn't know what to do, where to go, how to help the family. They didn't know how Chris's life was going to change. They didn't know how the family life was going to change. And as we started dealing with the injury itself, it's a life-changing injury. It's a very costly injury for the families. And not only is that family affected, that injured athlete affected, but everyone involved with that person is affected by this injury. You're looking at spending anywhere from $500,000, anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000 within the first 100 days of an injury. It can be very costly. You're talking about millions within that time period and lifelong. So what we do with Gridiron Heroes is basically, when we initially started, it wasn't so much about being there to raise money. It was about having someone, a family to talk to that was going through the process of what we had to go through. Being there for them, creating a support system for that family. Again, we didn't have that. We did the hard way, had to learn the whole process. And now we reach out to families. In Texas, fortunately, we have been very busy. We were averaging around 3 a year. We've gone down to 2 a year now. But it's still too many. And being able to affect the families long term. We all know that there's usually a help for the families the first 6 months to a year. After that, help goes away. Once that young man graduates from high school, then there's no help. And that's the shortfall in the long-term support for these families. Gridiron Hero steps up again back when they graduate from high school, try to keep up with the families. And able to pay for equipment that Medicaid or insurance doesn't pay for. We've donated 15 wheelchair accessible vehicles. That's a cost from $55,000 to $75,000, depending on the size of the wheelchair that young man has. That determines how much more upgrades we have to have on that vehicle that we're donating. We've been able to do 15 of those. We want to be able to continue affecting, the lives of these young men and the families, because again, after they graduate from high school, then there's no help. They have to be there to fend for themselves, and we try to help them with some of those costs. The van's very costly, wheelchair accessible vehicles, ramps into their homes, remodel a restroom facility that's wheelchair accessible. That's about a $30,000 piece of equipment, renovation, a hospital bed, and that's pressure reducing mattress. That's a $30,000 piece of equipment. Sometimes even wheelchairs. We've had a young man that was a full quadriplegic, and insurance and Medicaid wouldn't pay for it. Sometimes what happens is they get kind of caught in between the system. These are young men, young kids when they were hurt. They still grow. Just because you break your neck doesn't mean you stop growing. And so for some of our young men, we get to beat the moms and the dads and see the moms having to struggle to lift their son up, to transfer him in and out of a car. So, you know, we see that. We've gone through that. And so to be able to be there and make an effect on their lives, it's just tremendous to be able to say, you know, we're going to donate a wheelchair assisted vehicle to you. And it's life-changing. So to have a game like this, to be able to, you know, reach out to others. Gridiron here was also affected by the catastrophic events that have taken place with the hurricanes. We've had some, we've lost 3 vans in Houston. We had 3 of our families lose their vans to floodwaters. We had one here in Texas that was just recently also that went down a couple of months ago. Not only this year from Refuge, Texas, a young man lost their home, completely lost their home to the floods. And then following that, he actually broke his neck playing football. So we do have families that have been affected by some of the catastrophic events that have taken place. Now, the downfall of that is a lot of times with all the catastrophic events that have taken place, the smaller nonprofit organizations will tend to lose funds because a lot of the funds go to the bigger organizations. So the timing for this is great. We'll be able to continue our work to help others, but at the same time impact the community as well. And so we're very excited about this. And you know, we want to also be able to help the young men understand that there's ways to play the game of football a little bit safer. And what we have done, as Ron mentioned, our documentary is out there right now. We started our documentary. It helped. It was the catalyst for the initial Heads Up program that the NFL and USA Football started. You won't hear that too much, but we were the catalyst for that. Our coach that we have was one that actually started the program. And the reason they bought into the program was that it was studied. The LA84 Foundation out of California actually did the study on the tackling program. And what it indicated, it reduced the helmet first impact by at least 43%. That's 100% of the crown taken out of the tackle, making the game safer. You know, we have, and that's why the NFL bought into the program. So that's why they started their Heads Up program. And we call it our helmet-free tackling program because we don't hit each other. We didn't, you know, we're using tackling dummies to teach it. But it's a system, it's a progression of teaching it. And we've had several schools adopt our program. Mesquite High School was one. You called their coaches, and the only thing they changed from one year to the next was how they taught tackling. They had no injuries, no concussions, but they went from 25 missed tackles a game to 5 missed tackles a game. They went from a 1-10 team to an 11-1 team because they made it into the playoffs the following year. And so it was one of the, you know, the largest turnaround for their program in their history. So the program is not only making the game safer, but it also is good for your program itself. And what we've seen and the way we teach it, there's benefits with it, not only making their legs stronger, making the kids stronger, because for some reason or another, what we started finding out was a lot of times in their hamstrings, they don't work that. But as we teach it in the progression, they get stronger in their hamstrings. So there's a lot involved. You know, people always ask me, how can you still support the game of football when you know that your son was injured playing the game? Well, one of the things that we always, when we talk to our kids, we get a chance to bring in our kids, we get to talk to them, they all still love the game of football. I mean, they don't fault the game for their injuries. You know, we, from time to time, we'll have some events, we'll bring all the guys together and go to the state championship games, and these kids still love the game of football. So to do our part, to try to make the game safer, we wanted to do our part. And so we started looking around for how we could teach proper tackling techniques, how we could make it safer, get it, you know, studied, and we did that. And so now that's the other thing. You know, we've also been asked to go to other countries to teach our tackling program. They've eaten this up. I mean, they love what we're doing with this program. And so we need more and more coaches to you know, adopt our program, our tackling program, you know, to make it safer for our kids. The attention needs to be at the youth levels. Get the more youth coaches to teach the proper tackle techniques. Our documentary, again, it was started by some of the people that know the movie director of Friday Night Lights, Peter Berg. Now, Chris and I were in the movie, and we were also part of the TV series when they decided to take it and turn it from a movie to a TV series. Chris and I worked with the writers of the show. Part of the storyline for the young man that was Jim Street, who was injured playing football in the movie or in the TV show, was part of Chris's story. And so we have had the opportunity to be involved with the TV show Friday Night Lights and the movie Friday Night Lights, and gotten a lot of attention for that. But we are hoping that we can bring a few of those actors out here as part of this, along with all the NFL players, and make this a big deal. Make this an event where we can be proud to put our names on it and give the kids an opportunity to, maybe even be looked at by, college level coaches, and maybe continue their careers as well. But part of our deal is that we still love the game of football. All of our kids still love the game of football, and it's so important that we do our part to make the game safe. And we're going to be here for later on. If y'all have any questions, we can talk about the movie, talk about our experience with some of the actors we've met, whatever it is. I mean, we're here at your expense, basically, and just to be here for you. We have some kids in Texas. We have 30 kids that we work with, families that we work with in Texas. Gridiron here is not only just in Texas, but we're now nationwide. Chris and I go to coaching clinics, athletic trainer conferences all over the country. And we've reached out to an additional 50 families all across the nation now. And so we need the help. These families need help. I like to always, when I get to talk to coaches and parents, sometimes put it in perspective. One of the things that we want to do is to make sure that this long-term support is there for these kids. And the best way to put it in perspective is by use an analogy of everybody remembering the racehorse Barbaro. When the racehorse Barbaro went down, the racehorse community raised millions of dollars for the medical treatment and care of a fine animal. We, as part of the football community, those that love the game, support the game, need to value our human injured athletes as much, if not more, than what the racehorse community value the horse. But we're a long ways from that. For so many years, from the NFL all the way on down, it's always been out of sight, out of mind. That's changing now, and we're getting more attention. So we need to be able to help these families long term, be there for them long term. So we're excited about coming here and having a game, and we appreciate the hard work that Ron has put into it, and we appreciate Brownwood helping us, and we appreciate you too. So, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mitch. I know we're running a little bit long, but I want to share two personal stories real quick. My son went to play football at San Marcos Academy where Chris was injured. The night before my son went to play there, it was on HBO Inside Sports with Brian Nolan. And I'm like, wow, everything they have been through in their lives, I want to meet these people. They were at chapel the next or day after next, I think, at the academy, and I walked down and introduced myself, and I said, what all do y'all do marketing? And we started talking, and at the time I ran the arena football team in Austin, and now I've been volunteering for 7 years? And it's one of my most rewarding jobs I've ever had. My cousin went down in Kuwait and got paralyzed with the Mississippi Air National Guard. He was going to Bamsey. I'm the only Mississippi relative he had in Texas. Everybody lives in the South. And Texas is not the South, by the way. I'm just letting you know. We have big trees in the South. But they beat me to the hospital, and I lived in San Marcos. They were there to answer the questions for my cousin. And during that time, it was so difficult. He looks up at the TV, who's there but Eddie and Chris talking on CNN about them being nominated for one of the CNN Heroes of the Year. So my family now in Mississippi thinks I pretty much know everybody. And I always love, they go out no matter what. It's not the money. We need money to operate, of course, but they're there for the families. And this isn't marketing jargon. Good Christian family, and they go above and beyond, okay? If you have any questions, please get with me. Anybody needs any video, if they're running later, please get with Scott Coors of Down Home Digital, okay? And I want to thank everybody. Amanda, thank you, media, for coming. Thank you to the Brownwood Bulletin, Television, Coke FM. Guys, thank y'all so much for supporting us in this bowl game. I hope this becomes a very long tradition of us helping each other in Brownwood through the game of football. Thank you.